Hello and welcome. In this video today, we're going to go through a 5-step model of what you could do as an option to break the cycle if you found yourself in situations in the past where people have constantly cheated on you. So it could be with one person and you've gone back into a relationship and they're doing it again and again. Or it could be with multiple partners. So the cycle could be you've got together with somebody, it goes really, really well, and then you find out they cheat on you. So you might pull back from them. You get together with somebody else. It goes really, really well. And then you find out they cheat on you. And then you meet a new person. It goes really, really well. And again, they cheat on you. Now, it can be incredibly frustrating and incredibly painful because you've put your time, effort, and energy, and you've been the best person you can. You've done everything you possibly can to try to make it work, but yet they still cheat. Now, as a trauma therapist myself, I share information with people which may not be the easiest to hear, but it is sometimes exactly what people need to hear. So when I'm going through this 5-step model, all I suggest you do is listen to the full 5 steps and then write them all down and then reflect on them. Because again, some of the information I share may not be pleasant to hear, but again, it can break you free. Now, I'm not saying this is the only solution. It is a tool in a toolbox which you can run through your own filter to see if it fits your reality. But again, what I'm going to cover in this video may not be the nicest thing to hear. And if you notice that you get any sudden reactions or pullbacks, then that can be quite a telling thing as well. Because if you have any part of you which is trauma related in relation to what we're going to discuss, there's a part of your mind I call the protector self, and it might try to protect you from the very thing that can break you free from this loop of you get together with somebody, goes really, really well, and then they cheat on you. So the 5-step model is as follows. Number 1, this is not always the easiest to hear at all, but do not keep blaming the other person. Now, that is not to disregard that if you've been cheated on multiple times, of course they have bad behavior. Of course they've been disrespectful to you. But the one thing here is if you blame everything on the other person, saying it would have gone all right if they didn't cheat. It would have gone all right if they didn't do this behavior. What you're doing if you're blaming the entire breakdown of that relationship by their behavior is you're giving them all of the power, meaning that you are powerless. Now, it's again not to say that their behavior is justifiable, because it's not, they cheated, but it's to break that cycle to say that it's not just them, because you have chosen to actually get into a relationship with them in the first place, which then leads us on to point number 2. If you've had multiple relationships and each one of those people have cheated on you in some way, shape and form, the one consistency is you. Now again, nothing in this video is about blame or saying that you're the person who's wrong, that you've caused all this, because I'm not. It is important to step back because there are lots of people in this world, some will cheat and some won't. But look at the pattern of behavior. How is it that if you've been cheated on by multiple partners, that you've kept attracting people who cheat? Now again, this is not the easiest thing to hear, but what it is doing is taking back your power. Because remember, in this world there are people who cheat and people who don't cheat. So if you've kept attracting person after person after person who is cheating, then what is that saying about your unconscious behavior? That you're attracting a certain type of person, unknowingly of course, but you are attracting that behavior in another person. Now this again is giving you all of the power, because it's breaking you free of that cycle, saying the other person has all of the power. Then we go on to point number 3, which is, where did this behavior come from? Where did this mindset come from? Now, if we keep attracting situations in our life which are very painful in some way, and I did this myself, by the way, I used to attract in relationships broken victim type people, and it would always be for me to keep fixing them. And no matter what I did, they kept feeling sorry for themselves. They kept relying on me to fix all their problems, and it became so exhausting until I let go of my own trauma around that area. And then I stopped attracting people in relationships who were like that. Number 3 is, could you be running a potential trauma from your past that you do not know about? So now we're looking a little bit deeper into your psyche, and only go into this if you feel comfortable with it, because you never know how deep this may go. But when you think about the people that you attract in your life who are cheating on you, what does it remind you of in the past? Now, it might not be as linear as it sounds. So it could be if you had people in your life who were absent. For myself, when I kept attracting people who were broken victims, it was the trauma of a family member that I'd not come to terms with. When I came to terms with that family member, I was okay because I could let it go, and I stopped attracting it in relationships. So when people are cheating on you, what does it mean? Does it feel like you've got that aspect of yourself that you're not valued, you're not important? People just treat you that way. People don't see you as having any value in their world. And then where would those aspects show up when you were younger? Is there anything from your past where that used to be in your life all the time? Were you talked to in a certain way by a parent? Were you talked to in a certain way by a sibling? When you were at school, were you ever treated that way by other pupils or a teacher? What is your belief about yourself? And then moving on to number 4, which is, could you actually be attracting people into your life who cheat on you so you can fix the past by trying to fix today? Now, this can happen with millions of people all over the world. Something may have happened that dysregulated us when we were younger, and we haven't come to terms with that. So what we try to do is fix the past by fixing today. So it could be today that you've attracted somebody into your life who, underneath, you realize that they weren't fully emotionally balanced in themselves. But part of your mind might have thought, well, I can fix this. I can re-regulate that person. If I'm in their life, they won't keep going down that path. Together we'll be stronger. I've got to be there for that other person. Now, this could be where you're going into an unconscious savior role. And I'll put a link in the description below of the 6 emotional manipulative behaviors which I cover in my own training. But the savior role is always looking for other people who are struggling and try to fix them so they can feel that self-connection and validation within themselves by using external validation. But in doing so, unfortunately, what happens when a person is using the savior role to try to fix the past by fixing today is it never works out, which could be, again, I'm not saying this is right, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm saying it's an option. That if you've noticed that you've attracted a person, goes really well for a while, and then they cheat. You attract another person, it goes really well, and then they cheat. Could it be that you've been attracting people into your life who at a deep subconscious level, you knew, even though you might not have admitted it to yourself, or it might have been so buried within your unconscious that you didn't even realize it, but you've attracted them because you thought in some way that you can fix that person. And if you fix that person who's struggling, it will feel really good. You can help them move on, which again could be an unresolved trauma projection. So if there was somebody in your life in the past who wasn't really fully functioning because they were emotionally struggling, and you wanted to help that person out the most, just like I did in my own past when a family member was really struggling, I never came to terms with that for many years. So I found myself keep meeting those people in my adult self until I let go of it in my past. And then I let go of it in the real physical world that I was living in. And I could go on and have fulfilling relationships. So if what I've been discussing in this video does resonate with you and it started you thinking about, well, actually, that could be happening, Then you can move on to number 5, which is letting go of the past. Now, that is much easier said than done. It's not just a simple case, as the gurus claim, of just think positive and reframe your life. Letting go of past trauma is a complex area and requires time, but that will be much beyond the scope of this video. Today, I just wanted to go through an introduction of, could this be happening to you? And if it is doing, then here are some options for you to start to break the cycle. Okay, so just to bring this video to a close, because there is so many parts that we could go into, and if it has resonated with you, I'm sure your mind is flooded with questions that you could ask yourself right now. So like with everything I always say in these videos, start to write it down. Make sure that if you have somebody in your life that this is about, that you maybe keep it password protected or in private. Don't necessarily share it with everybody else yet, unless you feel really safe to do so, because that can make the challenging situation much harder to deal with. So in your own time, have a reflect of the 5 areas that we've covered there, and any thoughts that you have as well. Like I said, I'm not saying anything in this video is definitely right for everybody. It is a perspective and a way to look at it to aim to break people free if they do fit into that cycle. But also, if you have been through this situation and it has related to you and you have broken the cycle by going through steps that we've covered in this video, feel free to put it in the comments below if you want to, because you never know, your comment could set somebody else free by offering them an alternative perspective than anything that I've been discussing in this video. So I hope this has helped, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.